Talk to me. WSRadio.com.
The San Diego Council on Literacy brings you Literacy for All with your host, Jose Cruz.
Welcome to the show. I'm Jose Cruz from the San Diego Council on Literacy. You're listening to the Literacy for All radio show on WS Radio. Our guest is the literacy coordinator for the Oceanside Public Library. Welcome to our guest, Chelsea Genack Eggli.
Thank you very much. Happy to be here.
I'm so glad you're here and just interested in learning more about what you're doing in Oceanside, whether challenges are there, what your programs are, and just the whole idea, again, of libraries being engaged in provision of literacy services.
Of course.
Yeah, some places that doesn't happen. Mm-hmm. So first of all, tell us about yourself and how you came to be where you are now, because I think you've been doing this for about a year at this location. Mm-hmm. All right, tell us where you're from and all that.
All right, well, thank you for having me. I started at Oceanside Public Library in February of this year, and before that, I was working as a special education teacher for a couple of years in the Santa Barbara area.
Okay.
I did have some library experience before and after that, and when I decided to transition out of teaching in a public school setting, I wanted to mix my love of libraries with my love of education, and there's nothing better than literacy, so it was a pretty perfect pairing.
There you go. What a transition, because so you're public education, but not just that, you're special ed.
Yes.
So how did that prepare you for the work, that experience? Was it high school, junior high?
Both. Well, so I taught elementary, and then I also taught high school. So I taught students with moderate to severe disabilities, and that often means a smaller caseload, smaller classes. So I became very familiar with my students. I would have 10 to 12 students per year, and also with them 4 to 6 paraeducators who helped me. And I would say that it duly and prepared me for this role because I became very comfortable with my students. I knew them, saw them in and out every day, and developed specific learning plans for them. And then with the paraeducators, I provided training and for them to then teach my students as well. So both of those helped me to.
That sounds like what we do in literacy programs.
Yes.
And we call it, especially the one-to-one or small group, it's relationship-based learning.
Yes.
And you've said that word a few times already, so that, you worked with smaller groups, you got to know your students. Just because a person might be in a special education classroom doesn't mean that they struggle with reading and writing. Did your students struggle?
All of my students did struggle with reading and writing. Yeah, they had more global developmental disabilities, so it would impact them intellectually, physically, sometimes behaviorally. So there were always some struggles with reading and writing, but I saw great gains in actually all of my students, and the growth is at a different pace, I think, than some of our typically developing students and learners. But that was another thing that really prepared me for the world of adult literacy, is that you have to celebrate every single gain and see every step as a really beautiful thing to celebrate.
You got it. You got it. And it's something that you have to communicate to your other tutors and teachers and such, that those getting past the emotional part for some people of learning. And so would you say that with the students that you had, were a number of them, things were a challenge from birth, or that you had people that they had gone through some trauma, for example?
That's a really good question. Most of my students were born with their disability, and most of my students were born with their disability. There are some people in my learning center now who developed a brain injury.
Because of things that happened to them, right?
Yeah, so it's usually traumatic brain injury is the number one cause. If later in life there's a significant learning disability, also strokes and things like that. We have one individual who had a stroke and is learning to read after that. So yes, most of my students, it was throughout their lives, but now I see both.
And at Oceanside Public Library, you are working with adults only?
We work with adults primarily, but we are developing a family literacy program.
Okay.
We received funding last school year, essentially, to begin and to look at what would be the best way to serve our community. And so starting in June, we developed more programming, and now we're in full swing. It's quite exciting.
Yeah.
We are, have a lot of free books, actually. Thank you to San Diego Council on Literacy
so
and the
much fun.
Molina
Good.
Foundation
Yeah.
for providing those. But we've been able to give out over 250 materials just in the past couple of months to our families. And we are developing lesson plans, which we send out to help tutors, help their learners engage with the book so that they can take it home with their children. And we also send out books to kids on their birthdays and have other
So
programming.
you're doing family literacy.
We are
Yeah,
doing family literacy now.
yeah.
I love it. I missed it because I really enjoy working with children, and I love working with adults too. So I feel very fortunate. But now I'm like, oh, best of both worlds. I get to engage with both sides of it.
It's so exciting. And like I say, you have to celebrate what's happening. You have to be observant. So tell me, just in terms of what's happening with adult students who are parents, and how you're seeing this having an impact on their quality of life, being a head of household, for example.
Yeah, I think that's a good question. Most of our families, most of our students who come in do have some sort of emotional barrier when it comes to education. There is likely to have been some sort of trauma or extreme discomfort with schooling in the past. And so a really important piece of our tutoring is to develop comfort and enjoyment of education and reading. And so by providing books for them to build their own home libraries, it makes them take a bit of ownership over it. And it's also just fun to see families think, wow, I can take home 5 books to my kids. Look at all these amazing books. And then they will come back and tell me that, oh, my kid loved this book. It was really fun to read it with them. So I definitely have seen an increase in them sharing with me about the ways that they're using reading at home. And then another thing that it has changed is that I really enjoy having kids in our learning center as well. So if a mother or father is having their own tutoring session, I've begun to buy toys and provide a space for those kids to also play. And I think that that's been really helpful to make it a family activity, that it's not just mom goes to tutoring and child stays home, but it can be not necessarily the child is receiving tutoring at the same time, but that they're invited into that process as well and see, oh, look, mommy's learning something. Wow, learning is cool. I can take time to do this. So I've really loved seeing that.
Well, you bring a lot of enthusiasm to this work, and that's important because you're the leadership in the literacy category in the library. How do you help to pass that on to your tutors and staff? What are the things? And maybe it's just by example, or maybe there's certain things, exercises, activities. Being a good listener is so important. So that's one of the things that we like to recommend. But I know that you have tutor training, and I know that the programs are relationship based, and then you have all kinds of folks coming in, walking, with talents and maybe not, and maybe not in certain areas. So how do you help to pass that enthusiasm on, because it's vital, right?
I think that's very true. It's incredibly vital because as a literacy program within a library context, our students don't receive a diploma at the end of our program, and it's oftentimes our program helps support them into their next step of their journey. So what you're saying is exactly right. We need to be an enthusiastic, welcoming, compassionate, grace-filled place so that people feel comfortable. And I think part of it is leading by example. I always see the positives when somebody comes to me and has something maybe that's been a little difficult. We try to, in that moment, look for, okay, let's accept that this piece is difficult. Let's see where there's been growth. Let's see if we can circle back to that. And I also do think it's really important to promote exercises of showing gratitude. And it's November. We have Thanksgiving coming up, and it is a great time to share with people why they're important to you. And so I actually brought this in so you can see it because you're here.
I like that. It's nice. We have to see this flyer.
I've been prompting people to write letters to people that they're grateful for. And so that is obviously a twofold purpose. One is writing and getting used to writing, but then the other piece of it, did you want to look at it?
I do. Yeah. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Beautifully done. Who did this for you?
I did that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
Canva's amazing.
Okay.
And so within that, it says, I'll just
Yeah,
read it to you
go
guys.
ahead.
Who are you thankful for? Write a letter and let them know. And then there's a guide for people to write. So, dear so-and-so, I'm thankful for you because you have been blank in my life, I hope, etc. So that has been really beautiful because people are writing letters and they're learning, and there's literacy based, but then we're also expressing our gratitude. And many people are actually very grateful for the reading program and have written letters to us. So that's been very beautiful.
I like that you've done this. And just it's related, but a little bit off. But
Sure.
gratitude is so powerful. I mean, it really is. There's I want to remember the name of the writer, Wayne Dyer, who says, pretty much his thing is that you don't have to wait for abundance, you have it. And our issue is that we don't do enough to tune into our abundance. So here's a way to want to get people to write, but to tune into their abundance and be grateful for the things they have, because it can be a negative world if you let it. If you let it, that's that's the world that you created for people. So I really like that you've done this. I think that the topic is good. We're kind of winding down this segment, so but I do want to come back to this and also ask you if you're doing anything with the Writer for Writer, and if you're familiar with that,
I am.
because that's what this reminds me of.
Yes.
But yes, a thank you letter this time of year. Maybe we should all be writing them, right? And just really remembering how great things are, because sometimes we let the stuff that's a challenge to us kind of take the star, to be the headliner, and that's not a good thing. So
I did this one year for Thanksgiving. Actually, we did all right, real quick. I wrote their names on their name tags, and then we wrote inside of that something we were grateful for, and it was just a really beautiful expression for my family. So
nice.
I've done it before, and I've seen it be wonderful, and I just love to pass it on.
We need good topics, new sentence starters and topic starters and all that. This is a good one. So we're going to come back with Chelsea Genack Eggli, who's the literacy coordinator for the Oceanside Public Library. You've been listening to the Literacy for All radio show on WS Radio, the worldwide leader in Internet talk.
I've heard this is like one of the best pizza spots in town.
Yes, it is.
I'll do a slice of pepperoni, slice of vegetarian.
You got it.
And I will pay for all of that in 3 days.
In 3 days? What's that mean?
Well, wait, you accept credit cards. That money's not going to hit your account for 3 days anyway.
I need my money quicker.
At Chase, we hear you. With Express Funding, card payments are in your Chase account the next business day. Go to chase.com/expressfunding. Chase for business, so you can.
Compensated participation. All businesses are subject to credit approval. Not all clients are eligible for next business day funding, and additional terms, conditions, and restrictions apply.
Donate cash, furniture, clothes, and other gently used household items to Father Joe's Villages and get a nice tax break in April. Every donation is tax deductible. Believe you can make a difference. Be Father Joe. Go to neighborhood.org or call 1-800-HOMELESS to donate today.
Life is full of misadventures, from car crashes to home fires to getting choked out on the mat. Yes, I said getting choked out, because I'm Carlos Kramer, jiu-jitsu competitor, MMA and media personality, and mild-mannered insurance agent. You can follow my adventures on Kick-Ass Radio, and I can protect you from life's misadventures at Kramer Insurance. Home, auto, life, business, and workers' comp. We're at KramerINS.com, and I want you to join my world.
This is Bill Gruber with BizVid Communications, a Southern California video production leader. We've been honored to sponsor, produce, write, and host many of the fine programs on WS Radio over the years. So we understand how important the internet and your website exposure are. As video producers, we know the tricks and secrets to incorporate video to increase your search engine optimization and business success. Visit bizvidcommunications.com to see what we can do for you. BIZVID communications.com.
Too much to do? Not enough time to get it done? Call on the experts at Another 8 Hours for your business support needs. By partnering with Another 8 Hours, we allow you to focus on the more important matters, like being in front of your clients, doing what you do best, rather than being stuck at a desk poring over paperwork, rummaging through emails, returning phone calls, and struggling to get everything done by yourself. Meanwhile, your family and social life are going down the drain. Go to another8hours.com or call 8 more hours. That's 866-734-6877.
Hi, this is Rob Barnett, VinVillage.com, where wine lovers connect. Be sure to tune in weekly to Vin Village Radio for exclusive, in-depth interviews with the who's who in wine and food.
Can you imagine a world without children? A world where children don't play, or dream, or imagine?
At St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, we're working every day to
to find cures for diseases that strike down children, because we can't imagine a world without children. Can you?
Finding cures, saving children. St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. To learn how you can help, log on to our website, stjude.org.
Talk to me. WSRadio.com.
The San Diego Council on Literacy brings you Literacy for All with your host, Jose Cruz.
Welcome back to the show. I'm Jose Cruz from the San Diego Council on Literacy. You're listening to the Literacy for All radio show, and we are on WS Radio. We've been talking to Chelsea Genack Eggli, and I've been saying her name wrong. I'm laughing at myself.
I said it wrong at my graduation.
Yeah, okay. And so glad to have her on the show to talk about what she's doing at the Oceanside Public Library, where the mission is to engage, inform, connect, and inspire. I like that.
Yeah, I do too.
And so there's so many things that libraries do these days. So if you haven't been in a library in a while, you need to go in, because it's not just coming in and looking up books and checking out books and maybe working on some homework. But tell us, Chelsea, just the different kinds of activities, programs that the library does outside of loaning books and checking them back in.
Yeah, well, it's an honor to represent the library. We consider ourselves the cultural heart of Oceanside, and I think a lot of libraries in different cities believe the same as well. We are a public space where people are welcome, and we want them there, and you don't have to buy anything. So one thing that I think is really neat about the city of Oceanside is that we have a service called Hoopla. It's a digital library service similar to Libby and Overdrive, and we are the only library so far south of Orange County that has access to it. So if you're listening and you'd like it, come to our library and get a card. Yeah, it's a very cool service. You can get movies, DVDs, or that's the same thing, movies, TV shows, audiobooks, ebooks, graphic novels. Yeah. It's really a wonderful service. Yeah. So that's one thing that I think is cool that we've been developing and we now have available for the public. Yeah. And so we're also a place of learning. So we have citizenship classes, English second language classes, all of the children in the city of Oceanside Unified School District now have library cards through a program called Set Up to Succeed.
Say that again.
It's a cool thing, right?
Right.
All of the students at Oceanside Unified School District now, when they enroll, have an Oceanside library card.
Wow.
So they just use their ID, and the library is free for them. And I've been hearing stories of people who just see kids' faces light up when they, just type in your lunch number, and they can check out anything. So that's a really, really amazing partnership that we've been able to develop. And we have story times, obviously. We have Autism Welcome Here. So we had some autism-friendly story times in a new lending library. We also have a toy collection that we lend out, educational materials. It's a pretty cool space.
Well,
we don't have time to go over everything.
It's okay,
but if you are a citizen, come to our library.
Being in this age of technology and media, it's not just books. It's like, say, you can check out DVDs and books on tape, and I mean, it's just made it more.
You can learn
attractive.
New languages. There's a program called Mango that's for free.
Okay.
I use that with a lot of my students. I've been learning French myself on it. So
French.
I'm trying. I'm not good.
Good for you. And you have the access to the online high school.
Yes.
Can you tell people about that, because I still think it's understated.
Sure. So there is a program called Career Online High School, and if you are an individual who completed up through 9th grade and are interested in completing your high school diploma, you can apply to do that through your local library. Oceanside has spaces available, and it is a program that can take anywhere from 3 months to about 2 years, depending on how much time you had left to finish. So if you missed one class, if you missed the last 3 years, we would love to chat with you. So go to our website, Oceanside Public Library, and you can look under services, or you can call us. 760-435-5600.
There you go. We'll do that again right before we wrap up. But if you haven't been to Oceanside, I mean, it's just a beautiful city.
It is.
And if you're like old San Diego, Oceanside is not just grown up. It's just a great place to be. I have my favorite spots there. The library is beautiful.
It is. It's really beautiful.
And what, like a half a mile from the beach?
Yes. So the Oceanside Library is a part of what's called a cultural district. And so we were one of the first 14 in the state of California to designate a walkable space that is full of cultural places with cultural meaning. So our Oceanside Museum of Art, we have some historic libraries, good eateries, tattoo shops, the library. So that's a pretty neat designation. I think it does really speak to the activity of the city of Oceanside. And the library was the heart behind that designation. Within the application process, our library division manager pursued that a couple of years ago and was able to secure it. So it's just a really neat thing that we're able to represent our city well, and that the library gets to be a part of that, and we get to reach a very diverse audience and support them in all kinds of ways.
You have a theater nearby there too,
We
don't
do.
you?
We have two, the Star and the Brooks Theater.
Oh my God! Right, live performances and all that.
We have a film festival that I think is in February.
Okay. And you still have the farmers market out there.
We do, that's on Thursdays. And we have a night market. So in the morning on Thursdays, you can come get all your fresh veggies. And then in the evening, you can come and get amazing food. Oh, my goodness. They have such amazing array of food.
So they're cooking out at the farmers market?
Yes.
Is that okay, well, I need to make that drive.
Yeah, it's definitely worth it. The Thursday night market is amazing. They have these bao sandwiches at a certain place.
Yes, I love those. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, they're amazing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, things are happening in Oceanside and at the Oceanside Public Library. And I know we're here to talk about literacy and literacy programming and such, and that the family literacy program is kind of evolving and emerging, and so glad to hear that too. Can you you did talk to us about your write a letter, what do you want to call
Gratitude.
it? Okay, but it's not a campaign, it's just something you're doing for the holidays. It's seasonal.
Yeah.
Are you also involved in the Writer to Writer program? Is that something that you've done or going to do? And tell people what that is, because you know what it is.
I do.
Okay.
So Writer to Writer is a program that encourages learners at different literacy centers around, and originally just Southern California, but now it's expanded to all of California. And the idea is to think of a book that was meaningful to them and to write a letter to that author. So that could be, and the author may or may not be alive, and that letter then goes to a committee, and there's a celebration in March where we honor some of these letters. But the purpose and the heart behind that is to engage our learners in writing exercises and a self-expression and sharing why is reading important. So, we do have some people that have chosen to
submitted some things. Well, and I've seen some of the letters, and here are our literacy students. You think, well, they're reading a second, third, fourth grade level. They're accessing classic works.
Yes, very much so.
So I don't know when John Steinbeck passed away, but he's gotten a few letters.
He's gotten a lot of letters.
So people who are reading, for example.
And something that I think is really neat about literacy programs is that we do work with people at their earliest level of reading who maybe are reading at a pre-K level, but we also help people who are reading, they've gotten by in life. They have a high school diploma, but maybe their reading is around a 6th grade reading level, and they want to pursue college in a better way. So there's really quite an array of people that we work with.
Man, so many good things happening. I was just looking at your vision statement, and you kind of said it in your own way. This is for the Oceanside Public Library, being the cultural heart of Oceanside, empowering the community by promoting literacy, information access, civic engagement, cultural inclusiveness, and openness to new ideas. Every community needs that, and so proud of the folks in the city of Oceanside and the folks at the library, and you for the work that you're doing.
Thank you.
Are you having fun?
I am, yes. It's really quite fun. My first radio interview ever.
Real good, real good. That too, and just doing the work that you're doing, it makes a world of difference. So
I love my job. I'm so grateful. I have amazing coworkers. I think the city of Oceanside's in an amazing spot. I grew up there, so it's also really beautiful to be back in a context where I'm helping my city grow. And I love what I do.
So wonderful. And I spent some time on that pier, and I really like it there.
It's beautiful.
Get out there.
Ruby's at the pier, man.
Yeah, I've been
Those
there too.
Those milkshakes.
Yeah, so get on out there and see what they're doing at the Oceanside Public Library. We're going to sign off in just a few. This is our last show, actually, before Thanksgiving.
Okay.
And so your writing concept, the theme for the writing opportunity. I don't even know what to call it for your students is quite appropriate.
Writing a letter.
So anyway, we've been talking. Oh, what do you? How to get in touch with you?
OceansidePublicLibrary.com and just under literacy services, 760-435-5680.
Very good. Nicely
you.
done, Chelsea. You've been listening to the Literacy for All radio show on WS Radio, the worldwide leader in Internet talk.
I raised $8,000 to build schools for South African children. After realizing how many people go hungry in San Diego, I now volunteer at a food pantry.
I'm spending the next year doing volunteer projects across 3 countries and helping in ways they designate to be the most helpful.
The World Link program at the Joan B. Kroc Institute for Peace and Justice recognizes the potential of youth as agents of social change. Learn how you can help youth become a generation of leaders in action at peace.sandiego.edu.
In the military, things can change in an instant. Your personal life is just the same. Just like you protect our country, you want your family protected. That's why thousands of military members trust Navy Mutual Life Insurance. Navy Mutual is nonprofit, providing current and former Navy, Marine, and Coast Guard families with life insurance, no sales fees, and no military service restrictions. Protecting members on active duty and beyond. Call 1-800-628-6011, 800-628-6011, NavyMutual.org, insuring those who serve.
Nowadays, internet devices are an integral part of your home. Everyone in your family has a smartphone, tablet, or a computer. Life is easier knowing that all your devices are secured and your family can surf the internet carefree. ESET Multi-Device Security Pack does just that. One license for all your devices. With ESET, it's simple to stay protected and save money. Enjoy safer technology with ESET Multi-Device Security Pack at ESET.com. That's ESET.com.
I've heard this is like one of the best pizza spots in town.
Yes, it is.
I'll do a slice of pepperoni, slice of vegetarian.
You got it.
And I will pay for all of that in 3 days.
In 3 days?
What's that mean? Well, wait, you accept credit cards. That money's not going to hit your account for 3 days anyway.
I need my money quicker.
At Chase, we hear you. With Express Funding, card payments are in your Chase account the next business day. Go to chase.com/expressfunding. Chase for business, so you can.
Compensated participation. All businesses are subject to credit approval. Not all clients are eligible for next business day funding, and additional terms, conditions, and restrictions apply.
Tired of presentations with no impact, no inspiration, and no traction? Do dull speakers have you and your team disengaged and distracted by smartphones? Christopher McAuliffe brings energy, insights, and 2 decades of experience, delivered with punch, humor, and heart. Your team will leave energized, uplifted, and with a sense of purpose. Visit ChristopherMcAuliffe.com to bring some heat to your next speaking engagement. McAuliffe. ChristopherMcAuliffe.com.
Hey, it's Catherine from Listen Local Radio. Moe's Guitars has proudly served the San Diego music community since 1975. Specializing in guitars, basses, mandolins, banjos, and ukuleles, they buy, sell, trade, and consign. If you're looking for lessons, repairs, accessories, and cool gear, you found the right place. Located in downtown La Mesa Village, stop by and check out their digs or visit moesguitars.com or their Facebook page. MOZEguitars.com, 619-698-1185.